That's not light. Good morning. Hey. Woo. I think that's it. It's a little higher than most. Good morning. We're early for a change.
Yes, we are.
I said, let's just go in early and set it up and then make sure we're all right before everybody joins us. Um, so if you're joining us for the very first time, we're going to give our normal apologetic disclosure. This is nothing prepared. We have nothing scripted. We're just having coffee with friends.
That's mostly for me.
Mm, you would be surprised what comes out of my mouth unscripted.
Anyway, I'm Tim. This is Amber.
Keep going.
And we are two of the five that moved from the hustle and bustle of the city out in the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning. Okay, go ahead.
Where we live with our offspring and
Good morning.
daughter-in-law and mother-in-law and
The whole clan.
the whole clan.
Except for Morgan. Sherry says good morning.
Good morning, Sherry.
Sherry, no, we have not blown off the top of the mountain yet.
It is windy, though.
I have my love chub to thank for that. It keeps me grounded. Oh, goodness. Again, if you're joining us for the very first time, we apologize. But we just like to have coffee with friends and family, like-minded folks, talk about whatever's going on in our off-grid homestead or the world or whatever the Lord puts on our heart. And here we are. Have coffee.
All right, everybody take a sip. Yeah.
I need it. Oh my gosh. So a little backstory, nothing to do with our topic today. I've been fighting really just horrible food allergies since Thanksgiving because it was chemical overload and it was all processed food. It was delicious. It was food that you get at the grocery store. And every day I'm waking up with swollen eyes, swollen face, swollen lips, itchy, going through a detox, trying to figure out what I can and cannot have. I have not done the GAPS diet yet, in case you're going to suggest that. Haven't done it. I need to do it. And I just rubbed my eyeballs with peppermint oil.
Yeah, our eyes are a little puffy today.
And it gives me a really foggy, hazy head, these allergies. And I can't think straight. And I'm having and my ears are plugged. And then I got the big C on top of that. We've had that for going on what, 3 weeks now? Are you surprised I haven't hit you when you talked about my puffy eyes? Is that what's going on?
They're puffy this morning.
I'm miserable.
I know. I can see it this morning. Really.
Well, you haven't been able to see it for the last 2 months.
Well, not as much as I see it now.
You know why?
Why?
I had chicken broth yesterday.
She had chicken broth,
and it was organic. Nothing, no MSG added, all this stuff. But one of the top ingredients is yeast. And I'm allergic to yeast. But I can't make my loaded baked potato soup without it. So I had
She looks like Rocky after he fought Apollo Creed.
Anyhow, good morning, Steve. How are you? So that's what I'm dealing with. We do have an appointment at the end of this month, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, with a holistic practice. And I'm really looking forward to going, hoping she can help me figure out what's going on. What?
You did, though. Like,
am I entertaining you today?
Well, I mean, you did the little, like a spell thing. It's like,
oh, I'm just seeing my face.
Holistic.
Why don't you talk? My face is on fire because I had peppermint oil on it.
Anyway, I'm a little apprehensive, or how do I say it?
He is apprehensive because I said natural doctor. And it's funny because this is the kind of stuff we preach for the last 15 years, 2 decades. Steve's going to give you what for if he hears you talking like that.
Well, I mean,
he's heading up our whole herbalist 52 weeks of study.
I've never been to a doctor that used to be a doctor and now they're like a doctor on their own and not considered part of the
Western medical profession.
Yeah.
So she still has her license, right? She can still write to that little white padded script. She just relies on her faith
Yeah.
and her studies in holistic alternatives
Mhm.
without all the chemical crap.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just.
What is there to question? Come on, y'all, back me up.
Well, I mean, I'm just.
Isn't that funny, the mentality, though? Even you, knowing everything that you know, are more willing to trust somebody who nutrition is 1% of their studies.
Yeah.
1%.
Yeah.
And the rest is book smarts and pharmaceutical
Well,
push by a company that gets paid commission
yeah.
versus somebody that's made it their life study
Mhm.
to look into what God gave us to cure us.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's. A
Don't get me started.
Point taken there. I mean, I see what you're saying, and it's just
She's
that
in Knoxville, Sherry.
my whole life I've been to regular doctors, you know,
That's because I couldn't find a holistic doctor.
and since I met Amber,
Well,
she's
no.
always talking about these other type of doctors. I mean, like
I went to an acupuncturist that time when we were, yeah.
She went to
Dr. Dong.
Dr. White and Dr. Wong.
Dr. Dong. She was great. She was great.
I'll go
And
to
she was an
Dr. White.
OBGYN for 30 years. We'll let you guys know.
Take care.
It's January 30th, so I'm expecting great things.
All right, well.
There's this also, I found out in Morristown, Sherry, there is a wellness center, holistic wellness center, I believe is what it's called, in Morristown, Tennessee. And they have the oxygen, like cryo chamber, if I'm saying that right. And they do the IV vitamin infusions and the massages and the chiropractic, and they have the infrared saunas and everything. And I think me and my daughter-in-law are going to have a girls' day and go do that because I need it. I don't care about the sauna because hot, moist air or hot, dry air or whatever, it makes it hard to breathe for my asthma.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to the oxygen chamber and the IV infusions. Watch me. I'll be a brand new person.
She'll come back and be doing yoga and stuff, man.
No, I won't do yoga. That has icky
tofu in it.
It has icky origins.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You don't want to connect to them.
No.
No.
Nothing against yoga if y'all love it, but I've been looking for truths.
It could mess up your chi.
We don't talk about. I'm gonna beat him over the head, y'all.
I'm just kidding.
Our faith is rooted in Jesus Christ. There we go. And we don't meditate on other things.
I thought that was a T though. Cheaty?
What are you snorting?
That's what she apologized earlier for.
You never know what comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm just.
So, look, can we talk about the topic at hand?
Yeah, what's that?
This polar vortex moving across the United States, knocking everybody out of power.
Yes, we have a polar vortex that's going to be moving through.
It's some serious stuff, y'all. A friend of mine, Diane, contacted me yesterday. Their neighbor's roof blew off their house. They've only lived there 3 months. They're right there in middle Tennessee, central Tennessee. And we ended a message this morning. They've got downed trees all over their property. It's not looking good.
Where we used to live at the beach, we had
high total cleanup after wind took out our end walls. Oh my gosh.
When we would get winds like we do here regularly, 80, we've had 90-mile-an-hour winds up here.
Your windows blew out, honey. Are you in Greenville? I think I want to say it's Greenville.
It's a little flat out there, ain't it?
In Greenville? Well, where Ashland's mom is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What about South Carolina?
We used to, evacuate for winds like we get here.
We never left.
Well, we would never leave, but we have left.
We boarded up our windows.
Anyway, you got a hurricane coming through and you've got,
Hey, how are you doing, honey?
90 or 100-mile-an-hour winds. And then we move here and it's like we get 60, 70, up to 90-mile-an-hour winds here.
Cedar Creek area.
And occasionally will gust, but I mean,
We get more wind here than we ever did living at the coast during hurricanes in South Carolina.
It is concerning.
And more flooding. And there's a lot of difference too. So the homes back south, they're not meant for cold weather. So everyone teased us that, just the thought of snow, schools would close and everything would close because we're not made for cold weather. Now moving here, the locals are a little more privy. Matter of fact, I remember, who was it that told us it ain't nothing to go without power for a week around here?
Yeah, somebody
I
said
think it was the electric company that was coming through, clearing the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
They said ain't nothing to go without power for a week around here. We're like, really? I mean, but we were planning on living off grid, so we're like, all right,
In the winter too. Yeah.
In the winter too, and you'll get trapped at home. And we didn't realize, we're kind of preppers of sorts, and we kind of thought, oh, we'll be good. We'll be good. But it happened so quickly, especially with the flooding here, that when I have plans, it's like, oh, we go to the feed store every 2 weeks. Well, maybe it's day 12 of those 2 week cycle, and we're not going to go to the feed store. We're at the very end. And then boom, the storm hits out of nowhere and you can't go. So that's kind of where you have to prep for peace, that whole prepping for peace thing that we keep talking about. But this, we do have a heads up about the winter storm coming in. So now Sherry said where her son is, it's -18 with a -44 wind chill. Sherry, I remember those days. And Steve can attest. Well, because I grew up in Michigan, and the winter that I decided to move down south, it was 65 below for a week. We had 3 cars and none of them would start, and one was brand new. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm tapping out. I'm going south. And what?
I would freeze in place. I would be like,
your eyeballs hurt. Your eyeballs freeze. You can't be out. It's dangerously cold weather. And so here, what we just said, Wednesday is going to be 0 degrees. No, that's not including the wind chill. And in a normal situation that's built for that type of weather, like where your son Kip lives, or a friend's out in Idaho, or even Steve that's close to the UP, they kind of get it. Their homes are well insulated. They've got good gloves. They've got good boots. They have that kind of stuff. But there's always prep that comes involved in preparing for a winter storm. One of the main things I'm seeing right now are power outages. And they happen. I mean, there was a lot of power outages here.
Mhm.
Our mother in the holler, because she's connected to City Electric, she has power outages. And I'm telling her ahead of time, Mom, it's going to be bad this week. Make sure you're prepared. So we've got her extra propane for a heater. We'll get her extra water. She needs to have her flashlight, her walkie-talkie charged, food available, and food that you don't have to cook. So today we're going to talk about how to stay warm during power outages, because that's a big concern.
Yeah, I think that's very important because living on a homestead.
102 miles an hour winds at Camp Creek, Cedar Creek area. Are you kidding me? That must have been what blew off her house, her roof the other day. Was that yesterday, honey? We've been out to her house where we did the microgreens class.
Mm-hmm.
She had 102 mile an hour winds.
Mm-hmm.
Blew out her windows. You got plastic on your windows now. So back in South, where we had to do before we were expected these high hurricane force winds, is we went around and taped X's on all of our windows. Painter's tape, duct tape, whatever you got. That way, when the glass breaks, it all kind of holds together and doesn't shatter inside. And then, we lost a window this year. It shattered. But another thing is to tape plastic on the inside if you can. And out if you can, but a lot of times with rain and stuff, the plastic on the outside doesn't do so good. but that prevents drafts and stuff from coming in. We're going to talk, and if you guys have any tips, please drop them in the comments about staying warm and a power outage. We're going to go ahead and start moving on with it, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to talk about the stuff you should prep ahead of time first?
Well,
Let's do that.
around, I mean,
Let's
I
start at
can
the beginning.
give you a rundown around here is, keeping your water.
Let's do us. How we do things, because how we do things is a little bit different than the average Joe or even locals.
When we first moved in this house and we didn't have the insulation, everything froze in the winter. Our
it
water,
still does. Last year we couldn't even use our drain. We only had one drain, and we
the
couldn't
drain
use it because
froze,
it
the
froze.
trap on it froze.
The dog's water froze. Our dish soap
Everything.
froze. Our water inside the house froze.
Yeah.
It wasn't fun. But we did learn it takes 5 gallons of snow to make 1 gallon of water. Okay, go ahead.
And we didn't
About
drink it.
prepping for
And we did not drink it because it's got a certain odor to it.
No,
I
we
don't know what
filtered
it
it.
is.
We filtered it.
I didn't drink it.
You thought you didn't drink it.
If I can smell it and it don't smell right, I ain't drinking it.
You thought you didn't drink it.
It smelled like an old shoe that had been in the
Timmy,
closet for 50 years.
Start talking about winter prep, things that you do to prepare for the storm.
Yeah,
What do
well,
you do?
around here, our water is, very important, between water and firewood, with the livestock and being able to, I've been hauling water in 60-gallon drums because when it freezes, you can't get water out of a pipe, but you can dip it out of a 60-gallon drum. There might be a little bit of ice on the top you can break, and so you can still get ice out of there. And it's pretty much a constant, especially when you have the freezing temperatures through the day. It'll refreeze in about 5 or 10 minutes.
Water's
So
the biggie.
yeah.
You got to be careful not to get dehydrated and stuff like this,
Yeah.
especially your livestock.
Yeah.
Making sure all the livestock has. We get scratched during the winter
Fatten
because
them up with some cracked corn.
and it takes more energy for their bodies to break it down, so they stay warmer. Make sure they have plenty of hay. Make sure there's windbreak for them. And with these winds, it's securing everything. Everything around here becomes a weapon during these winds. All the loose tin, all the loose pieces of wood, all the porch things. Yesterday we had our Christmas tree outside and on the porch, and the wind blew it all the way down our 40-foot porch and dumped it in our pool, and along with the cushions off of our patio furniture. Excuse me. So winds become a hazard when you have loose things outside. So you need to batten down all the hatches, making sure that you have a heat source, if at all possible, even if it is a portable heat source. Friends have gifted us over the years those pocket hand warmers. Lifesaver. Lifesaver. Oh, the dogs are back. That's another thing. If you have animals, no, girls, don't let them out. They want to play. If you have animals like outside dogs, you might want to consider bringing them inside to help keep you warm. They have a lot of body heat that they can give off for you to cuddle with. Another thing that I strongly suggest is one of these, the old timey little bottle warmers, because you can heat up your water over fire, over a grill, fill this joker up, put it in your bed, and it'll keep you warm all night. I work with, since I've been sick and I've been cold, I work at the computer all day. I'll shove this in my robe like this, and that's what keeps me warm when I work at the computer.
It's amazing
how hot it gets the bed. We fill it up before we go to bed, and we shove it under the covers, and so when we get under the covers at night, our bed is warm. And it's just one of those old water bottle thingies. You can get them you can get them online. If you have an old pharmacy, ask the pharmacist to get you one. Highly recommend this because it'll keep you warm when you don't have power. And all you have to do is heat your water and put it in there. What?
Yeah, my grandmother used to have one.
We're not going to talk about the enema days.
Old grandma.
We ain't going to talk about that this morning. Other things are to condense your living space. So if you've got a big home and you have a lot of rooms, close off all of those rooms and keep everybody in one room. We've got a blackout curtain that we put in between our bedroom and the rest of the house. And we have a fireplace in there, which gets really warm because that room is actually insulated. So we'll take that blackout curtain and close it, and we'll stay in there and condense our, keep all of our body heat in one room. And that is a really good tip as far as being able to stay warm, is all try to stay in one room of the house. What?
Yeah, I'm glad we have that insulated room with a buck stove, and
We're
it just
fortunate. Yeah.
it really puts off a lot of heat. It's really too much for
It
certain
gets,
times. You have to build little fires in it.
but we're not complaining about being
No, we're
warm during the
not.
cold.
You can make it hot in there if you want it.
Other things that you have to consider for power outages is what you're going to eat. You need to plan meals that don't rely on cooking necessarily if you don't have the means to cook without power. If you don't have a wood cook stove like we do, if you don't have a grill available with extra propane, um, is to plan meals. And I do have is a disaster preparedness 2-week meal recipe planner for ideas. I'll see if I can't drop that in the comments. Um, for a full menu without cooking anything. And it's basically you need to make sure that you have, and there's a shopping list to go with it. So I'll share that with you. If you've got go-to recipes for non-cooked meals, drop that in the comments too. Make sure that they're good quality meals. You don't want to sit there and eat Pringles and Ho-Hos all week. You need your energy.
No, but you can eat
Nuts, granola,
sardines and soda crackers.
sardines. Yeah. You need your energy. But these are things that you need to do ahead of time so you don't have chaos. You don't have panic in the midst of chaos. Prepping for peace. Because you know what's coming and you know it's not going to be good. You pray that you and your family and those that you love go unscathed, but
Yeah.
there's going to be natural disasters somewhere along the line. There's going to be inconvenience. There's going to be service interruption.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be probably a little bit of panic thought, discomfort if you know that you have to eat sardines and soda crackers.
Not for you. You
Something's
like
going
that stuff.
on. You know something's going on.
Mm.
You're like, oh,
I have plenty of paper products. That was one thing that I learned back in South Carolina before a hurricane hit. We were very eco-friendly to the point that I didn't have any one-time use products in our home. I didn't have paper plates. I didn't have plasticware. I didn't have saran wrap. I didn't have. All we had was the bamboo paper towels, and then we lost power for over a week. And I realized I really needed that stuff
you
because I
don't need to
couldn't
be
wash
washing
dishes. Because I couldn't waste the water, and we had nowhere to toss the water, even if we could wash dishes, because everything was flooded.
Yeah.
So you couldn't take your dishwater and drain it out the sink, and you couldn't toss it outside because it was literally standing water everywhere. So I enjoyed sardines also, Sherry.
It's good.
More for y'all.
Yeah. I like the barbecue, the mustard, the plain.
Call that pudding then.
Yep.
Yeah, good. High in protein, a good source of vitamins, nutrients. Tuna. Make sure you have a non-electric, a manual can opener. That's key. It kind of goes back to that whole home audit. It's like, what are you using? And it doesn't take long, but you look at everything that you use throughout the day and everything that relies on electricity to work. Get you a notepad, start in the kitchen, and then find a manual option as a backup. And it won't take a whole lot. You could probably go to the Dollar Tree with like $30 in your pocket and find manual solutions that you can store for emergencies to help you get through power outages, like the manual can opener, um, a percolator. You could just boil your coffee grounds with a coffee filter and pan and water. Um, Matches instead of lighters.
Yeah, we used to have a electric can opener, and I didn't like using it because I'd always used a manual can opener.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things, I guess,
I love
how you
mustard
were
and hot
raised,
sauce on
how
it.
you were raised up, it just, what works. So
But
that
people
was,
don't think about this kind of thing when it comes to power outages. I
yeah,
mean, and so back to staying warm during the power outage. Block off any rooms that you're not using. Put towels below the doors. During the day, have your windows open for that radiant heat to come in. At nighttime, cover those windows up to prevent any
drafts.
drafts
Yeah.
from coming in. I mean, even the best insulated windows still let cold in. So covering those up, gather all together in one place to share your body heat. Eat highly nutritious foods that, just like our livestock eating the cracked corn, that it takes your body longer to break it down. That helps keep you warm as well. Keep a hat on your head so your heat doesn't escape,
Or your brains.
or your brains. Um, do those types of things. Don't, obviously don't stay outside too long. Making sure that you have a food plan as far as, being able to eat without power, and that you have plenty of water. And then you can stuff things too. I mean, we've got lots of layers, but layers will help you stay warm, and the right types of clothing too. You don't want
Yeah.
something like pure cotton is great. It's an organic fiber, but it absorbs moisture and it stays wet.
Yeah, it'll make you cold.
It'll make you cold.
I think one of the things that we do around here now.
Quilter heavy thermal curtains blocking stairways, hallways.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Family campsite, wood fire, and wood fire room. Yeah, if you have a wood fireplace, those are great. And everybody loves them. The floor is cold. So blocking, putting anything like your quilts, your blankets and stuff down on the floor help too. Bringing in any animals that you can cuddle with that can help keep you warm. What?
I mean, when I worked on the tugs, we had wool blankets that were
Mhm.
in each quarter. And I found that, nobody likes touching or trying to sleep with a wool blanket. But if you have a wool blanket and you can put something over the top of it and it's down on the floor or your bed or something like that, as
It'll
long as
keep
you
you
can
warm.
keep something,
So you're not itching.
yeah, it will, man, it will keep you warm. So I would like to have a couple of wool blankets if we can.
We have some in
I
that.
know they're expensive.
We have some in that chest right there.
Right.
My grandma gave them to us.
So that's
Well,
good.
she didn't give them to us. She died. Then I
Yeah.
got them.
Yeah.
No, this one at all. Oh, but those are just little tidbits of staying warm and how we're planning on doing it. And our main thing, like we're focused on, is because we do have the fireplaces and we do have the wood cook stove, is making sure we have plenty of water stored where it won't freeze.
Always keeping hot water too. We always keep a pot of hot water on the stove.
We
Or
do.
something, just.
And then plenty of firewood for us. And and then it's just a matter of rinse and repeat, making sure the animals have water, that their water's not frozen, making sure they have plenty of hay, coming back inside, loading up all the fireplaces, making sure we have hot water, and then cycling back around. Oh, some other tips. Friend was saying that her generator went out. Test your generator ahead of time. We were just discussing we need to get some extra gas for ours. I mean, we've got enough, but you never know how long you're going to be trapped. If that one time we were trapped for 8 days because the power lines were down across our front driveway, leaving our property. We were fine, but we couldn't leave because of the power lines. And it took them a good long bit to get to us.
Yeah.
So having your gas for your generator and also and make sure it works. Test it. Um, the other thing is your chainsaws. Make sure you've got your chainsaws at the ready and your gas and everything. And if you go to leave, pop that joker in your truck with you because you never know if you're going to come across a tree that's down. We'll be drinking coffee in sync now. Sand in a metal pan on wood stove is great for warming hands after chores. Oh, wow. That's a great one. I didn't think of that.
What?
She says put sand in a metal pan on the stove. So when you're going outside and you come back in from doing your livestock
Just
chores,
dive your hands in
put
it.
your hands in that and warm it up. What a great tip. I love learning new things.
Sand in a hot pan.
That sounds good. That sounds very therapeutic for your hands.
Yeah, it's like being at the beach and putting your feet in the sand and it's nice and warm.
Good tip, honey.
Yeah.
That is a good tip.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you need to watch for the signs too of hypothermia and frostbite and all of those things. Not just for yourself, but if you have livestock as well. Putting, coconut oil and stuff on all their wattles and combs right now before the cold weather hits in, because chickens aren't they're not they're not the smartest egg in the carton.
Yeah, they don't have much room up there for a brain.
I mean, they're smart, but they're not smart. I mean, they'll freeze to death if they like the perch where they're at
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Yeah.
We can't get ours off the handrail. We got to
No.
figure out something to do.
Yeah.
We'll capture them and trap them out there in the coop.
Yeah, we'll take them to Sherry.
Sherry, you hear that? Be ready for it, honey. We'll
put them in your mailbox.
With us too, it's like making sure we have plenty of flashlights available, candles. We have our oil lanterns and we have our oil, and of course we have our solar, but it's not 100%. I mean, there's times that it gets covered by the snow and there's not sun out, and we need our generator. And then if we didn't have our generator, we would be right there with everybody else. So it's not foolproof. Um, excuse me. With our mom, who lives in the holler, we have to communicate through the internet. Well, if her power's out, so we have a walkie-talkie backup
Yeah.
for communication.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got.
Mama bear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I say Mama Bear to Grandma Bear. Come in, Grandma Bear. Then we got Baby Bear and Mountain Man. The little call signals. But yeah, and so we have extra means of communication. So if you have any elderly neighbors or people that live by themselves, please figure out a way to get in touch with them and see how they're doing. A lot of times we get in that complacent mode that we don't prep, or we get in that we don't want to ask anybody for help mode, or we just don't think it's not going to be any big deal, or maybe they're just not well. Like
Yeah.
maybe they're sick like the rest of us have been, and they just haven't had the energy to prep for a winter storm. Check in on them because they might not be okay.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
Good morning, Tamara. How are you, baby? Camp lantern with cook pot attachment, good for single serve soup. Absolutely. Timmy, put those jokers in a pot and make dog food. Peanut butter, great for animals. Oh my gosh, we got so much peanut butter right now, girl. It is great for animals and good for protein. What?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you might not want to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but
No.
Tamara, we're talking about might not affect you in Texas, which I don't know. Texas gets pretty cold sometimes. Preparing for how to stay warm during power outages, and you can. I don't know if you can when you join live chat, you can see all the previous comments. I'm hoping so. I need to figure out how to download those comments, because I want to share them. I think they're great tidbits and tips. And if you never take for granted that everybody knows what you know, because we don't. Just like, the tip with the sand in the pan
That's a good one.
on the stove to warm your hands when you're coming up for chores. Another thing that we've done, especially we've done this for our livestock, not necessarily for us, is the radiant heat that you can get from bricks and rocks
Yeah.
and everything. We don't have the means to have electric heat lamps because they draw too much power.
Yeah.
So we've had chickens that thought it was a great idea to hatch out in the wintertime, or we've had goats that thought it was a good idea to give birth in the middle of a snowstorm. So to keep them warm, we've used, oops, sorry, just about knocked the computer off, the hot water bottle, those packet hand warmers. Of course, those are like a one-time use thing and they're kind of expensive, but they have saved a lot of our animals. And then the other thing is Timmy will get these big rocks and or bricks or what have you, anything that absorbs heat.
Heat them up.
You heat them up on the fire and then you put them all around wherever you need it, whether it be around your livestock or in your bedroom or room. You can put it in a metal pan. Your cast iron, oh, where's the Dutch oven? And did it put it back in the stove?
So,
We're seasoning our great big Dutch oven. Um, if you have a Dutch oven, that cast iron, once it absorbs heat, it radiates heat for a really long
yeah.
time. So that's a great idea. Just if you got a fire, stick them in there, put them all around the room, and let them, you know, release that heat slowly throughout the next couple hours. And that
Oh
helps
yeah.
too.
Load that thing up with some potatoes. Mm.
There you go. All right. We're prepping for Monday and Tuesday. Girl, that's what's going to be here. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Thursday, I think, is normal. And then Friday and Saturday. So we've got whatever's going on in the United States right now. And my little conspiracy theory, I'm sure there's something important that we should be paying attention to in the news or in the real news, not the stuff they show on TV, that's diverting our attention to this polar vortex going across the United States. But it's just me. It might not be true.
Polar
But I think it
vortex.
You just like saying that word, don't you?
Well, it's kind of catchy.
Y'all have a blessed day. We actually have more preps to do today. And like I said, we need to get gas. We need to get more water. We need to get more firewood. And we need to add more. I say we. It's really Timmy. God bless him. He's such a hard worker. Not that I don't work, y'all. I don't sit here and watch TV. I actually have work to do too. It's just different. Um,
Yeah, it's just, she says hard worker. It's
Thank
just
you, sweetheart.
hard for me to work.
No, he's a hard worker. And then the hay for the livestock. So yeah, we have some preps to do too, and to make sure our mother is prepped. And our children, God bless them, they're very resilient, but they need some nudges from time to time about how to prep for these things.
Yeah, we got to get those blinders off of them.
Sometimes he just speaks. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay warm, and we will see you guys next weekend.
Next week.
Oh, if you haven't already done so, don't forget we're kicking off the 52 weeks of herbal study, Wild Herbal Adventures with Steve, and yeah, we've been studying Eastern white pine all week, so we're excited about that. Excuse me. If you haven't already signed up, go to My Homestead Life and look under herbs. There's a little drop down tab. It's Wild Herbal Adventures. And you'll be getting weekly emails with all the tidbits of things that you can do to apply these herbs that are close to you and on your land or you can forage for and all their uses. So sign up for that. We're happy about kicking that off.
Check it out.
Bye, y'all. Have a blessed day.
Thanks for watching.